Hello, this is Kara from Kara Tarot with a general reading for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. This is a spread that uses 3 decks. This is the spread that I created called the Trinity Spread, which takes a question and breaks it up into 3 parts. So my general question is, how can today be the most profitable day for me? And then I will break this question up into 3 parts. Home, work, and spiritual. And that's kind of arbitrary. I could break it up into any 3 parts, but those are the 3 parts that are meaningful to me. And home, including family relationships. So, home, work, and spiritual. And that's the Swagatam Tarot. The second deck I'm using is the Desert Illusions. These are just my decks for this week that I'm just using for this reading. Well, I just got 3 cards, so those are my 3 cards. Okay. Home, work, and spiritual. Okay. Those up there. And then I pulled my Oracle cards in advance, which I usually do. Home, work, and spirits. And now I can space these out a little better, hopefully. I can never see this top right here. Okay. So home. We have the 4 of Spirit. It's the 4 of Smoke. And in this deck, every number has an additional meaning. So 4s are colors in this deck. So the 4 of Smoke, which is the suit of Spirit, is saffron, which is kind of an orangish yellow color. Keywords associated with saffron are hard work, leading to success, beauty, and opulence. So home, home will be hard work, leading to beauty and opulence, but it will be successful hard work. Home, and then we're reading the 3 of these as one. So this star is also, you are full of hopefulness, you are full of balance, and the balance of emotions. So we have the home being successful hard work, and also we have a splash of stars and shining. So that positivity of shining lights, glimmers of shining light throughout your home. And don't do everything, do the next thing. So this hard work that it was talking about at home, you don't have to do everything at once. You just have to keep a continual flow going and do what you can do from moment to moment. Those are those little glimmers. At work, Another smoke. 10 of smoke. I always have to look these up because I don't know the smoke suit very well. So, and in this deck, the 10s are the seasons. And the 10 of smoke is late winter. So at work, late winter, a needed break from trials, respite, rest, finality, peace. So you may be having, ironically, well, the school year is starting up. For a lot of us, this is the last week of rest or the last 2 weeks of rest before we have to get started. Our school year here doesn't begin until after Labor Day. So that's this weekend. So we still have some days of rest. So that's just one example of, you might want to be thinking about, how is this a late winter for you? Is this a period in your workplace of rest? For some workplaces, this is the end of the fiscal year, right before September. So that's not always a restful period, though. So then the Knight of Cactus is, again, it's a kind of restfulness, except the Knight of Cactus is about planning. He's looking ahead. He's planning ahead. So he is taking his time, though. That's what he does. This is my favorite Knight. The deck is that he plans ahead. He tries to see ahead as much as he can, because he wants to be extremely effective when he does finally move forward. And you're never more than a half step away from being back in the flow. So don't be afraid to step back, plan, think, evaluate. Don't be afraid that it means you're taking time out. It reminds me of the casting director of Arena Stage, and I went to have a meeting with him at one point because he had directed me in a play, so I knew him well enough to speak honestly with him. And he said, it doesn't matter whether you're in a play right now. What matters is that you are perceived as a working actress. So you don't have to worry about taking a break, just as I think British actors call it resting in between plays. So you're never more than a half step away from being back in the flow. And it's important that the flow is a rainbow, which means it has a lot of diversity there in the flow. So where you may step back in a different place that you came out, and that's okay. But it is important that you, whatever period of rest you have right now at work, that you take it. And you can use that as a period of planning, but also just relaxing and meditating. And then emotions, I think was what I said for this third one. So emotions. Oh my, another smoke. So it's important to note just that all three of these are spirit. So your spirit, your personal spirit is really important in the mix here. The threes in this deck are different flavors or tastes, and they have to do with creativity, development, growth, and diet management. Okay, so when you're thinking about your emotions, think about the flavors and tastes in your emotional life, your emotional diet. The tika, the three of smoke, is a bitter taste, and it's equated with purity, chastity, and panacea, an all-purpose cure. So do remember that when you have some bitter emotional moments, remember that they kind of cleanse you for the next thing that's coming up, as hard as they are to deal with. And so we have now tastes, seasons, and color. So we can think about that a little bit. Color, seasons, and taste. not just what's represented here, but think about what's coming up in the fall, the colors of fall, the season of fall. What are things that you associate with fall? And the tastes that we associate with fall. Those are things, when you're taking this meditative time, you can just spend one of your meditation periods or one of your quiet times thinking about those things, the colors, seasons, and tastes of this autumn. This is the 8 of jugs, which often has to do with leaving things behind. A bitter taste, clearing away the things that you are leaving behind, the cure, the panacea for the things that you have to leave behind. Notably, in this card, that you are taking a stagecoach, so you're going very quickly. You're going very quickly, but these 8 jars are ostensibly all full. At least they're carefully maintained. So, if you do have to leave something behind, just do what you can do to leave it well maintained. And then, you're free to go, free to emotionally. And the last bit of the emotion is, just because they put a square on your head doesn't mean you're not still in school. And I think this is something they don't tell us when we're young, is that learning is lifelong, and this is true of our emotional learning too, is there's always some new lesson coming along, and your friends can help you process things, but it doesn't stop. You're still learning new things. I dare say my mother at 101 is still emotionally dealing with new things because she's dealing with things at 101 that she never had to deal with before. So as long as you're here, you are, as it said yesterday, in the game, and you're never more than half step away from the flow. You don't have to do everything, just do the next step. And because you're going to continue learning. And we looked at these elements of the seasons, these 3 different elements. And let's look here. The star is the only major am I right? Yeah, the star is the only major. So this is a wonderful thing to be the permeating, overarching thing, and to have it in your home is a blessing. That the star, this hopefulness, this glittering aspect that shines through the darkness of the night, those are the things you want in your home. So how wonderful is that? Trying to think if there's anything else we need to wrap up here. I think that's it. So just so we had the home is sparkling, it's busy, it's full, do what you can. At work, if you try to think about what part of your work is in the late winter stage. And and that would involve stepping back, evaluating things. Are there things that are coming to a close that you hadn't thought of before that are coming to a close in terms of your work? And try to plan ahead for that so you're ready to go when that next step is appropriate. You're ready to step into that next step. And with your emotions, it may be time to leave some things behind, maintain them as best you can, and remember that every part of this is still a new part of your emotional growth. This is using my Trinity Spread, breaking up one question, how best to make tomorrow profitable, today profitable, and breaking it up into 3 elements of the question. This is Kara from Kara Tarot. Thank you.